Hey everybody, this is Shannon from Pish Posh Reselling, and I have some goodies from the thrift store that I wanted to share with you today really quick. We just had a chance to run into town yesterday, and we had some errands to run. My husband had some work errands to run, and so he dropped me off at the thrift store. He and the boys went and did their work errand type things, and I had about an hour and a half to just kind of poke around. And it was Goodwill again. So there's a few other thrift stores in town I haven't been to for a couple weeks. So I'm looking forward to being able to do that sometime soon, but I'm also enjoying trying to get some things listed and sold. So my husband had a couple days this week, or one day the weather wasn't great, and so he stayed home and he helped me catch up on some of the winter type items that I feel like I'm really behind in getting listed. And so he did a few of those, and but it's always nice to get retail therapy, right, at a thrift store. So we sorry, just got a little notification that I forgot to turn off. Swiping that away. Okay, so what I wanted to do is just show you the few things I found in that hour and a half, and we'll start with these bowls. So I actually got 7 of these. They were bundled up in a pack of 4 and a pack of 3, and so the pack of 4 was like $6. Pack of 3 I think was $4. Anyway, however they priced it. But as you can see, it's like a honeycomb pattern. It's got the raised bees, the honey bees. Super, super cute. Nice deep bowl. And the reason I grabbed them, the brand is Williams Sonoma. So that's generally can be a good brand. Now, I have to admit that I did kind of purchase those based on a little bit of emotion. I know bees and beekeeping and all that kind of stuff is really popular right now. In comps, when I looked at comps, there was only 1 bowl in comps that had sold for $12, which is not bad. So I didn't see any others listed, and I just looked real quick in my phone in the store. I didn't check Terapeak or anything like that to go further back to see how sales have been historically. So I just had a gut feeling about these. I will probably either list them singly with a quantity 7 and then just let people buy however many they want, or I might do 2s and then 1. I don't know. Probably because there's an uneven amount, I'll just do the quantity listing idea and then calculated shipping, and hopefully that all works out if they buy more than 1. Okay, I only got a couple clothing items. I'm kind of overwhelmed with clothing at the moment, so I spent a little bit more time in the hard goods and like purses and backpacks, and I didn't really even have time to get to the women's clothing. I looked through the men's because I always do, and I looked through a lot of like accessories, hats and belts and things like that. So that's kind of just what I was in the mood for. But I did pick up this shirt. I'm gonna back up a little bit. It's a men's shirt, kind of a color block situation. It's got a blue stripe down the sleeve. This is the brand. The brand is the Territoria Head. And I really like this brand. It, you know, this probably I'll list it for about 30. I took a quick look and I couldn't find this exact shirt, but I have to get exactly the right keywords to figure it out. And I felt it. This is like the softest shirt I have ever felt in my life. But anyway, it's the Territoria Head, men's extra large. It's just cotton. But I don't know. I just really love those colors. And I think we'll list it for about $30. So Territoria Head can be a good brand as far as maybe not, you know, if it's a jacket or something like that, we'll definitely get higher prices. But some of their just basic shirts might be, you know, the $25 to $40 range, but they usually sell fairly quickly because I think that brand has a really good following. So one of the things I picked up in the bag section, I like to go kind of look at the little bags and the pouches and the wallets and things like that. And I came across this little thing. It says Ultimate Torso Packs. And there's two. So one's like a bottle holder. And it's just kind of like a waist pack, if you can see that. So it's actually two different things. So this is something my husband's going to end up listing. And he can separate them, or he could just keep it together, whatever he decides to do. And I saw some similar comps for about $25. So I think that's what we're going to go for. That's what we'll shoot for. Okay, this was actually a really nice find. We got this at, I was looking through men's. So this is the only outerwear piece I found. But it's a goose down puffer vest. And I've sold this kind of thing before. It's Eddie Bauer. It's an older Eddie Bauer tag. Now I'll research it a bit more, and my husband actually has listed this already, and he put vintage. It's made in China, so it's not the newest Eddie Bauer tag. It is an older Eddie Bauer tag. So I'm not quite sure about the vintage designation, but I'll research it a little bit more, or maybe he did. I'll just talk to him about it. But yeah, super good condition. And what I look for, goose down and Eddie Bauer can be pretty good. It talks about on the tag, it says premium quality goose down. So, and then the other nice thing about it, it's a 2XL, but it's a tall as well. So that's going to help quite a bit. Let me go further back. So 2XL tall goose down. And my husband listed it for, I don't know, like over $100. So he did the research, and I'm not going to second guess him. I usually do quality control a little bit, but when he's listing really quickly, some things I can't keep up to check every single thing he does, and he's usually fine. But it's just once in a while I was like, because he hasn't done this in a year on a consistent basis, and it's the same types of things that I always do, where you finish and you load your pictures and you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't take a picture of the whole back of that garment, right? And so a couple times like that. One time he had the photos and he said he loaded them and they didn't stick to the listing. And then another time he was getting a bunch of detailed pictures and just kind of forgot the full shot of like the back of the shirt. So no big deal, but we just kind of try to check each other sometimes. I had a situation this week where I listed a cool KUHL shirt, women's. The next day I was looking through the listings and someone had watched it already, and I had listed it at $34.99, and it was on eBay Live for $16.50. And I was like, why would I even pick that price? And then as I was adjusting the price, it was the eBay trending price. And I was like, why did eBay stick the trending price in there? So did I click something I shouldn't have, or did just something get switched in the upload? I don't even know, but I'm glad we caught that. Okay, so I have a couple things that I bought that maybe I was just shopping too emotionally, or I was just didn't take the time to check as thoroughly as I should have. And so it was a good lesson. So I was looking in belts, which I like to do, and I saw these suspenders. And they're really nice. They're genuine leather. And I saw the logo right here. And I was like, oh, I know that logo. And so sure enough, Nakona, right? So it's a good Western cowboy boot brand. And then I was kind of looking at it, and I was looking at this hook at the top, and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, because, that's the part that would go back here. I was like, oh, they replaced it. They lost their thing, so they replaced it with this kind of hook. And I was like, oh, so I put it back. And then I was like, well, let me look it up. So I looked it up, and I looked at the pictures, but I didn't look close enough. And so this is original. That's totally fine. I've researched it since, and there's a name for it that I'll just put up here because I can't remember what it is. But it's Western style suspenders. They do clips like this. And what I should have seen in the pictures is that there's supposed to be clips at this end too, which these are missing. So I did a little bit of time researching like whether I can get replacement ones. Probably not worth the time or the expense, because I don't know. These probably would sell for like $40. I only paid $2. I don't know. I don't want to sell it as is if the person can't even get them. But now I'm thinking, what if somebody already has the hardware that they could replace and maybe their belt broke? I don't know. I think it's opening things up to a whole lot of issues. So leave a comment below. What do you think I should do with these? I don't know what to do with them. I could return them. I could get $2 store credit. But I don't know. I don't know. Let me know. Okay, I also found, I'm hopping all over because I had pulled these out to show my husband, this stuff to show my husband, and then I just threw it all back in bags. And like I said, he already took the little pile of stuff that he wanted to list, and he already got started on it. But anyway, I found this little leather pouch, super, super cute. So it's not a pouch, it's kind of like a wallet, you know, it's a wallet on a strap, basically. And the brand, where is it? Is GH Bass and Company. So it has a nice little vintage look to it. So I was like, you know what, it was $2. And I thought that is super cute. And then I got thinking about it and I'm like, this would be like an awesome like thrifting bag, right? I just have my business credit card in there, keep my hands free. I can throw my coupons in there, and then I don't have to worry about my bag in the cart or a bigger messenger bag that gets heavy after a while. So I don't know if this would work for yard sales because I usually have to have a bit of cash. Well, I guess some cash would fit in there, some change. Anyway, I might be keeping that one. That's pretty cool. But of course I haven't looked up comps, and so if comps tell me differently, I might end up selling it. I don't know. Okay, here's a little bit of vintage. Okay, these are Regent Sheffield. And man, let me see. Oh yeah, okay. I had untaped it, but then the tape came off. So it's a set of knives, but very rustic. You can see rustic, supposed to look like horn or antler or whatever like that. And they're usually, sometimes they're Bakelite. And anyway, they have it all taped up, so I gotta take a look at it closer. Now, this is another maybe possibly emotional purchase that I made. Oh, and I forgot to say, I did have 20% off that day. So the prices I'm telling you are what they were asking, but it was 20% off of that. So $6. And I was like, oh, they're so cool. I have some that haven't sold. Not the same brand, not in a box like this, but anyway, I don't know. It's like my steak knives the other day. I think I showed you in another haul. I just can't resist vintage sometimes. It's really hard. Same thing. I just double checked this. I wasn't paying attention close enough. Denise, fortunately this was only $2. Denise interchangeable knitting needles. And I opened it up and I was like, oh, it looks really good, right? Well, you know, thrift stores, they know what they're doing. So not only did they tape the paper instructions in, which is fine, whatever, I'll just cut and it'll just have tape on the front of it. But they put it on this side, and you know why they put it on this side? Because there's some missing. So, I don't know if there's supposed to be stuff, you know, I just saw it, I saw $2 and I threw it in my cart, and that was probably a very bad, I don't know, that was probably a bad thing to do. So I did see, I was searching comps right before I started this video, and it looks like someone sold one with parts missing for $20. So I think that's what I'll do. Anyway, unless I can part it out, you never know. That might be a possibility. Okay, bags again. So I don't do a whole lot of designer, but this thing was in such good condition. It's a leather bag. It's Kate Spade chain and everything. I know that there used to be a lot of Kate Spade fakes and stuff, and so I will do some research on this. But it's just got a nice, clean, striped lining. It looks like it was barely used, and the leather feels really nice. So anyway, I think I will figure that out. That was $4. So I'll take the time to figure that out. Okay, then I've got some neckties. Sorry, I'm like bouncing around. I've got some neckties, and I have a funny story about neckties. So I do love to sell. I love to hoard vintage neckties. Let's just put it out there right now. I do love to buy and look at vintage neckties, and I have sold quite a few in the past. I have. But I have like a little bin. It's full of ties. And anyway, I will get to it one of these days. But I do like finding like 30s and 40s ties. I love it when they're just mixed in with everything. And I've gotten fairly good at spotting them. I don't always know the age right off the bat, but I've learned some things over the years that a lot of it has to do with the width of the tie, and the length of the tie can help you determine the era. And whenever I get confused, there's a Facebook group, I Love Vintage Ties, and that group of mostly gentlemen and some ladies will totally just be like, oh yeah, that's from the 40s, that's from this, that's from this. And I've sold a lot of ties to them, because if I put one out there that, you know, that they like, they'll be like, say, are you selling it? And then a lot of times I just sell it directly to them. So I'm looking through all the ties, and there was a fresh batch of ties there. And they all kind of looked like 90s ties, and I was like, but I'm like, you know what, I sift through all the different fabrics, and I kind of look for that vintage material. So I was so excited because this one like popped out at me. So I'll show you that. Such a vintage looking design. And I was like all congratulating myself. I was like, you know what? I said, look at me. I can spot a vintage tie. Like a 40s tie, I can spot it a mile away. And I've gotten so good at that. I'm all like congratulating myself. So I pull it out. And look, Chaps Ralph Lauren. I was totally wrong. This is totally, I mean, it's probably a 90s tie, but I mean, it's awesome looking. It's so cool. But not even regular Ralph Lauren. It's like Chaps Ralph Lauren, which is the lower end. But anyway, that's my necktie story. Oh my goodness. Alrighty, moving on. I did find 2 other ties that I went ahead and got, even though they are 90s and kind of different. I don't know. They're kind of pretty. Big old paisley. But I got them because the brand is Liberty of London, which is very exciting. Lots of awesome fabrics and things like that. These were made in the USA, so vintage, and they're 100% silk, and they're clean and all that. So I'll try to get those listed. And then the only other one I picked up was this one. And I picked it up because it's Halston. Okay, so just a designer, but I looked at comps real quick, and there were some selling, you know, in the $15 to $20 range, some a little bit higher. So I spent $2 minus 20% on those ties. So that's a good margin. Good enough for me anyway. What is this? Oh yeah, and then I did get one more belt. See, I was focused on the accessories quite a bit. I got this metal chain belt, kind of interesting. And the brand, there's a little hang tag, but it also says Chico's right on the belt. So I didn't comp that one. You know, it's kind of like these accessory type things. I'm going to pay $2, and then if I can make 20, 24, I'm good. And then if there's like a bonus surprise, that it's worth a little bit more, then I'm happy about that. I'll put that there. Okay, so I did get a few hard goods breakables. Got this cute little thing. I do believe I either have this or I have sold it before. This one's Bing and Grandal, and just a very like Inuit boy with a fish kind of thing, or Scandinavian. So it was 99 cents. It's just like a trivet or a wall hanging. But I've sold a bunch of these before in my Etsy shop, and I have a little stack of different ones, not just Bing and Grandal, but some other Scandinavian companies. And I just need to get my act together and get them all listed, and they're going on Ruby Land this time. So we'll see, but I can't leave something like that behind. And then I got this little guy. These things always sell rings and things. So it's got a little place to hang it. You can put it up by your sink, and then it needs to be clean, but you just keep your rings in it while you're washing dishes or something. So it was 99 cents. Like, these are 10 bucks or 12 or something like that. They don't sell for a ton. It's just a nice little thing to throw in your shop. And that one's super cute. I'm not gonna keep it. Okay. Anyway, one more thing. Oh, yes. Okay, another funny story. I got this little lady. She is a stoneware. Now right here in her little basket would normally be some dried flowers. So she's like a little dried flower vase. She was 99 cents. They're usually Japanese companies. And I've sold her before. I'm pretty sure I have. And she had flowers. And I started collecting things like this. And my plan was to sell off my collection, but they got packaged up and put in a bin, and I never sold them. So I do have this little, anyway, I just have this one that I'll list. I'll see how it does, and maybe I can dig out some of those other ones and just see what I've got. I don't even remember. Okay, so then I did get one pair of shoes. This is a brand that I've heard of from like Ginger Marvin and some other, probably dealing with Dalton, or I don't know. But the brand is called, I think it's just Zero, but with an X. And these are little hiking shoes. I say little, they're like bigger than my foot. But 7.5 Zero hiking shoes. So they're a little bit frayed and stuff around the edges. I'm just going to clean those up a little bit, but the soles are like super good. And it's definitely a brand if you sell shoes to keep an eye out for. I don't have an exact comp on this, but when I see a list, when I was doing the search, or I'll put a comp here now. But when I was searching in the store, I could see everybody's asking prices for these real quick. And when they're all like $40 and higher, I was like, okay, that's a no-brainer. I really should check sell-through rate and all that in the store, but these are $6, and I had enough confirmation that it was a good brand to find, and so I just went ahead and bit the bullet on that one. Okay, so now I found some baseball caps. Now, this is exciting. I had my best find of the day was in the baseball caps, believe it or not. And it is not this one. This says Peloton. Okay, I just grabbed it because it's an easy list, right? And I also have a Peloton water bottle that's not selling. So we were thinking, when I showed my husband, I said, why don't we just put it together with the bottle, and then maybe we can sell both of them for a little bit more. I don't recommend the Peloton branded items. Just saying, I just did it. This one I haven't looked up, but it's a Harley Davidson motorcycles. Pretty sure it's a girl's hat, but either way, I don't know. It's a one size. It's got all the tags and stuff inside, so it's officially licensed. I think the olive green, army green kind of color, I think that's going to do pretty good. Then this one could be good. This one could be kind of interesting. Maybe in the $30 to $40 range. This is a vintage baseball cap for the Detroit Tigers. And it's like denim. And so I think my husband found a comp for a corduroy one by the same brand. And it had sold for about $40. So when I look inside, it's just got the official merchandise kind of paper tag. But then I saw back here, I don't know if I can get it, but on the plastic, it's like made in the USA. I think that's upside down. But anyway, made in the USA, Detroit Tigers. So we'll shoot for about 40 for that one. So not bad for a $2 hat. And then this one is just a kind of one I took a chance on because I couldn't find comps. But it's called Bow Spider. So it's bow hunting supplies, tools, whatever you call them, gear. And I'm sure it was just a giveaway hat when they bought something. And so it was never worn. It's in really good shape. And so we're just going to give it a chance. So I don't know, $15, $20 for that one. They're so easy to list. Okay, so here's the exciting ones, and I'm going to show you both. And I'm pretty sure this is my thumbnail. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna pose so I can make a thumbnail out of this. Here we go. What do you think? Okay, so which hat do you think sells for more money, right? So here's the story. I see this one. I'm going through all the hats, and in my Goodwill there's a rack, the rack of men's clothes, and then they just, on top of the racks, they put all the hats. That's what they're doing lately. So I'm like, you know, I'm short, so I'm just kind of looking through the hats, and so I see the word polo, and I'm like, oh, Polo Sportsman, okay, that's probably Ralph Lauren. I'm like, awesome, which of course it says Ralph Lauren, but anyway, I didn't look that closely. And so I grabbed it and flipped it over, and I saw Polo, Ralph Lauren, and I was like, oh, that kind of has an older look to it. So I was like, sweet. So I grabbed it, threw it in my cart. Didn't look up anything. I'm like, a Polo, I hope it's vintage, but I'm sure it's gonna sell. So then I keep looking, and there was a stack of hats. I lift off a stack, and I see the Polo Bear. And I was like, no way! Because the Polo Bear, like anything with the Polo Bear on it, usually sells, and can sell for really good money. Like the bed sheets are like really good money, or sweaters with the Polo Bear, really good money. And so I was like, yay, and I just grabbed it and threw it in the cart and covered it up. And I was just like, I'm not even gonna research it, I'll just research it later. So we get home, I'm showing my husband, he's all excited about it, right? And he's like, cool. And so I start researching this one. So I look at the tag, and it's made in Taiwan, so definitely a vintage one, like 1990s, right? And I was like, sweet. So I start looking for this combo of, you know, with the navy blue bill. And so I look for the combo, and, you know, vintage 90s bear hats, Polo Bear hats were selling for like $30, $35, $40, $30. So I think I did find this one at about the 35 range. I'll put a comp up here. But then this one, I start looking up this one, Polo Sportsman with the fish. And there's a bunch of khaki colored ones. It's kind of hard to tell, but this is like a light olive green. And I see all these khaki colored ones, but I'm looking in solds, and they're selling for $75, $100. $90, and I was like, what in the world? So that was awesome. And again, I looked inside at the tag, and it's made in the USA, so definitely vintage on that one. Just like a strap back here. And so yeah, it'll be at least probably $75 for that one. So that was super exciting. I'm pretty sure that's my best find of the day, and definitely worth a stop in there while my husband got to run his errands. So anyway, if you like those finds, leave me a comment below. Let me know which one was your favorite. Then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You can follow my what sold videos, and hopefully a bunch of these things will get listed in the near future, and then we can see how fast they sold, if they sold. If you never see them again, you'll know I made a bad buying choice. Anyway, okay, thanks everybody for watching again, and we will see you soon on the next one. I didn't really mean to end the video like Harry Tornado, and I didn't go whoosh or anything like that, but I think that voice is in my head so much. See you on the next one. So anyway, we will see you next time.